Hey guys, welcome back to Guys That Magic. It's me, your beautiful host, Steven. I'm joined with David and Shane. Guys, say what's up.
Going on?
What's up, nerds?
What's so funny?
Because you're beautiful. That's what's funny.
We're back with probably one of the last two spoiler videos. Am I right?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Well, today we are here. It is April 1st. Happy April Fools. Hopefully you guys didn't fall for anything like I did. I fell for way too many things. We're going to talk about the Outlaws of Thunder Junction spoilers for today, some stuff that came out during the weekend and today. Really excited to start it off, and we're going to start it off with a good card, at least in my mind, David. We have Akul the Unrepentant. This is 2 black and 2 red for a legendary creature, Scorpion Dragon Rogue, because Scorpion Dragons are coming in fierce with this set. It is a 5/5 with flying and trample. It also says sacrifice 3 other creatures. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery, and only once each turn. David, I'm just gonna go straight to you, man. I mean, I gotta do the Rakdos thing. Come on.
I love Rakdos. I love Sacrifice. I actually don't really care much for this card. I think that it's really cool. I'm glad that it exists. I mean, the creature type in and of itself is fantastic. Who doesn't love some Dragon Scorpion Rogues? Also, the artwork on this card is absolutely banger. I just happen to have some very real concerns. I want you guys to share your thoughts, though, before I point out why I'm not a big fan of this card.
I'm going to point out your thoughts right now, because I think I have the same thoughts. It's extremely restrictive in the sense of it's got 2 safety valves. You have to do it slow and only once each turn. So it's just like, I don't want to do those things. I want them to be like in response to blocking. Like, you want to do things at instant, or I want to do things at instant speed. And then the once per turn thing is like, but why? I get it, but why?
I mean, my thoughts are that I agree with the fact that it is slow. I just love anytime I think like Rakdos, obviously sacking is such a big important part, at least in my mind, for that kind of color scheme. But I think the really cool thing is like being able to steal your opponent's stuff. Now, granted, when we talk, we don't really talk about Commander too much, but that's all I see on this card. But I guess, as David would like to say, would you not say this is kind of like a limited bomb? I mean, 4 mana, 5/5, flying and trample.
So I would like to say that, yes, I do think that the mana value, and that's another thing that we haven't really discussed here, is a very real limitation. Double black, double red is kind of hard to pull off. You're not going to be able to potentially ramp into this thing, at least not in a limited environment. I mean, you're just not going to have like your little mana dorks or anything that are going to help you out here. And then past that point, I mean, is this a 4-drop? Is this a 5-drop? When are you going to actually be able to get this thing in play? A 5/5 flying trampler, yes, that's going to be able to put pressure on your opponent. I just think that the mana value here is a little deceptive. I think this is probably something that's going to be dropped on turn 5, 6, maybe 7. And then if you are playing in a 3-color deck, I don't know if I play this card.
I probably went down 3-color, yeah. Hunter's the one that you said loved this card, so.
He absolutely did. So for the viewers at home, sorry he wasn't able to make it for this video, but he is a huge fan of this card.
Well, speaking about huge fan of cards, let's go ahead and move on to the card that I'm most excited about throughout this entire set. This is Goldvein Hydra. This is X and a green for a creature Hydra. It's a 0/0, but don't let that deceive you. It's got Vigilance, Trample, and Haste because it's green. Why not? Goldvein Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, and then when it dies, create a number of tapped treasure tokens equal to its power.
Wow.
I don't care what anyone says. You guys can tell me this card sucks. I can't see it, and I love it with all my heart.
I don't know if I could say that it sucks, honestly. I think
I'm waiting for David. I'm not waiting for you.
I mean, okay, you're right. He'll say something, but to me, looking at this, the shittiest part of the card is that you make tap treasure tokens, so you can't use them immediately, which is kind of a bummer. Other than that, this is like green's mana sink to make a huge, not big dumb beater because it has evasion, and I don't know. There's only one downside, I think, and that's the bottom half.
We are so far out from like Endless One at this point. It's disgusting. No, this card is a mythic. It is very clearly earned that mythic spot as well. Normally with creatures you have to sink a ton of mana into, like they come with a couple downsides. This one has trample and haste, so it's not just a big dumb beater. It's getting it immediately, and it's being able to push that damage through. And then whenever your opponents do deal with it, you're rewarded with treasure tokens. Given that you can't use them that turn, but like who cares? You're gonna get a ton of treasures off this. There is no downside.
Yeah, I mean, especially if your opponents are removing this on their turn. I mean, then those tap treasure tokens don't even really matter.
That's true too. I was also going to say, Steven, I know we're not going to dwell on Commander yet, but what's the one thing you always bring up all the time? Amulet of Vigor?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I don't even really care for that in this card.
Yeah, I don't think that you need those treasures to be untapped
I know.
to make this card good.
I'm just saying, whenever we talk about things coming in tapped, I feel like Steven always brings up Amulet of Vigor.
I do. You're not wrong. I do bring that up quite a bit. You know what else I want to bring up? That I want to bring up this next card. This is Annie Joins Up. This is one, a red, a green, and a white for a legendary enchantment. It says when it enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. If a triggered ability of a legendary creature you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Little Panharmonicon action for legendaries.
In a very restrictive color pie slice
Yes.
here, I mean, you have to be playing with Naya.
Top half is cool and all, like dealing 5 damage, but at that price point seems a little high, but I get that at the bottom half is what you really care about.
I think this is going to be one of those cards where I just don't play it, to be honest. Like, I don't think that either one of the abilities there is like super powerful on its own. Like I love being able to double up on my things. Only hitting legendaries and only being in Naya is a very real restriction here. But like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to justify 4 mana for this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna severely agree with you. I mean, to put 4 mana into this to deal 5 damage, it's super restrictive on the colors. I mean, the text at the bottom, one last job, then she could retire in peace. I'm pretty sure she's gonna retire in peace because nobody's gonna play this.
I was gonna say, dude, it's really too bad that Hunter's missing today because Hunter is our Naya player, and I'm sure he'll be like, "You would think about this deck that has the triggers on this and that," and so we're kind of missing a crucial voice in our group at the moment. But I don't think
What he
any of
gets
us
for not
are-
being here.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think any of us are actually gonna play this card. So
No, no, and to be quite honest with you, I don't. I mean, I'll say it. I don't even think Hunter will play this card.
well, now he's definitely gonna play it.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We have Wylie Duke, Atiin Hero. This is one, a green and a white for a legendary creature, Human Ranger. It's a 4/2 with Vigilance, which is always fun. And then whenever it becomes tapped, you gain 1 life and draw a card. I like it, but then obviously got a tiny little butt.
It has vigilance. It
gonna
can't
say,
tap itself.
You're gonna be playing with the ability. What's the ability where you convoke? You're gonna be playing with convoke or something, I guess, or like maybe saddle. Never mind, it's on a horse. Probably thinking you're gonna be saddling it for stuff.
Yeah, this is
Nah.
definitely saddling and crewing and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it is a 4.
Absolutely not. I'm Springleaf drumming. There's got to be ways to be able to like tap and untap this thing and abuse it.
Well, I'm sure there is. Honestly,
I'm sure.
Yeah, but I think flavor-wise, it was supposed to be made to crew because it does have that higher power. But didn't we see a bunch of things that are like crew for 4, and we're like, well, what the fuck? You gotta wait till 4? This is a good way to get there with 3 mana, 4/2.
Yeah, a lot of the cards I've seen from the set too are definitely like, if a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield, draw a card.
Yeah.
So I definitely see it, but it is hysterical that when this taps with Vigilance. So it was very interesting.
So it can swing in and then tap, get it?
Yeah.
Hopefully,
So Met card meh.
we'll
I
see.
think there's a lane for this one. I'll have more to talk about this one later on.
Meaning in the commander area.
Commander Togs.
Okay.
All right, well, let's move straight on to the next one. We have Dust Animus. This is 1 and a white for a creature spirit. It's a 2/3 with flying. It says, if you control 5 or more untapped lands, Dust Animus enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters and a lifelink counter on it. It also has plot 1 and a white. If you don't remember what plot is, you may pay 1 and a white and exile this card from your hand. Cast it as a sorcery on a later turn without paying its mana cost. Plot only as a sorcery.
David doesn't like it, but I mean, if you play it for its plot cost, you'll probably have untapped mana. Then you have a big dumb flyer. Not good. Right?
I'm very iffy on this card. I mean, I see the entire point of plot. I actually really enjoy the plot mechanic. I just feel like, okay, you plot this on turn 2, you still need to get to those 5 untapped lands.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like it. I mean, crap, dude, 4/5 flying lifelink, pretty good.
I don't know. I think the power in this card is honestly just it's a 2 mana 2/3 flyer. There's going to be games. I'm just looking at like this is not impactful enough for a game of Commander, and then for a game of like limited or standard. Standard, I think that this might just be too slow, and then limited, like it's a decent rate. Like I will happily play 2 mana for a 2/3 with flying. The extra ability there is nice. Like it probably will help me be able to close out a game. But it is still like this is a card where I'm potentially having to take a turn off. Like I do have to plot this thing, which is if I'm doing that on turn 2, meaning that I'm not doing anything else.
All right, well, I think that we're all kind of in agreement. Kind of just have to see how this card goes. But I mean, I'm not super high on it, but I really enjoy it. And those were pretty much all the rares and mythics that were kind of spoiled. We are going to move on to a common, probably one of the most talked about ones. So we have Quick Draw. This is 1 red for an instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains first strike until end of turn. Creatures target opponent controls lose first strike and double strike until end of turn. Pretty good for 1 red.
Yeah, one red. It's a pretty cheeky combat trick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, because I can remember all those times my opponent has swung at me with first strike and double strike.
Well, first, I think it's an and or. Well, I know it's not
I
and or
mean,
on the
Well,
card. Sorry, I know
no,
that. I'm just
I
saying.
mean, it's literally and.
Some cards
I was
could
gonna
have first,
say
sometimes second.
you can actually have a card with both first strike and double strike. It's not actually going to do anything special. Double strike is redundant at that point. But
Mhm.
dude, this is an excellent card. It fixes a chrome as well. Your opponent casts that, and then you cast this, and then you still get beat to death because all their things are just coming in with flying and indestructible and all that. But now they just don't have double strike.
Yeah, I'm
That's
for
pretty
this
funny.
card now. As soon as you said that, I've been killed by a Chrome as well more times than I can count on two hands.
You're still gonna die to a
You're
chrome
still
as well,
down, so you're
even
still
with this
dead.
card.
No,
It's just not like
no, man, because like
over
anytime
dead.
a Chroma's, yeah, anytime a Chroma's Will is played, it's just like, all right, I'm gonna swing with this amount of creatures because it'll deal double damage, and then I won't swing with these, so I'll still live, and then I'll win my next turn because that's what happens in Magic. You always win on that next turn.
I think regardless, we all think this card's good.
Yes, it's a good card. Well, that's going to wrap up the rares, mythics, and the common. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to some cool reprints. I'm really excited for these, actually. So we have Leyline Binding up first. This is 5 and a white, but you're never going to pay that much. It's got Flash and Domain, which I clearly said a lot that it was a very terrible mechanic until I realized that was very wrong. Yeah, this spell costs 1 less to cast for each basic land type among lands you control. And then when Leyline Binding enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent on opponent controls until Leyline Binding leaves the battlefield. This is a fun one. I've always enjoyed this card, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it was great removal in standard. It was very
Mhm.
annoying removal, but it was great removal. Not too much to say about a reprint though.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't really have much about this. It's cool new artwork.
Yeah, that's true. It was
It doesn't
good. It's still
necessarily
gonna be
look like
good.
a magic card.
No, it looks like a paper or something.
Yeah, it's like the weird thing about these reprints and like that new treatment for like the wanted posters. I don't know. Like, I'm not a huge fan of them, but I mean, I think they're still cool. I don't know if I'd play them, that style treatment. But next up, we have Outlaws Merriment. This is 1, a red, and 2 white. It's an enchantment, and it says at the beginning of your upkeep, choose one at random. Create a red and white creature token with those characteristics. So you can either have a 3/1 human warrior with trample and haste, a 2/1 human cleric with lifelink and haste, or a 1/2 human rogue with haste. And when this creature enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to any target. David, you love chaos and randomness.
I like being able to capitalize on chaos. I don't actually like being kind of forced to do something on chaos.
Yeah, I'm not that big of this. I'm not a big fan of this one.
Yeah, I wasn't super high on this the last time, and having been able to actually play around with this card, I'm still not a very big fan of this.
A big old bowl of meh.
And let's move on to the last card, probably my favorite reprint so far. This is Force of Vigor. This is 2 and 2 green. If it's not your turn, you may exile a green card from your hand rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Destroy up to 2 target artifacts and/or enchantments.
Fantastic.
Oh
art.
yeah, baby.
I love this art so much, dude.
I love the Force series.
Yeah, another good reprint.
I'm actually a pretty big fan of this artwork too.
I already
It is
said
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah, but you can have your opinion, but I have my opinion too.
Our opinions are the same, dude.
No, they're not, dude.
Okay.
They're the
I like
same
how-
though.
I like the little like cactus child thing, just like cheering on the destruction.
Oh, on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, look at what Mom's doing.
He's like,
Also, that's-
yeah.
That's a cactus child butt.
Butt crack.
That's a butt crack. It's pretty good back muscles though.
Okay.
Dude's been working out.
Yeah. Because what was the power of those things? They were like 2 4s or whatever.
I think they're 4/2s.
4 2s. All right, well that's gonna do it. Quick, easy, little fun spoiler sesh. I like it, guys. Which one was the favorite so far, and why is it Goldvein Hydra?
That's probably the best card that got spoiled today, but I'm going to be difficult here, and I'm actually going to choose Wylie Duke. I think he's probably the most interesting.
All right, Shane. So David has picked Wylie Duke. What are you feeling?
I'm gonna cheat, and I'm just gonna pick quick draw. I don't know why that's cheating, but yeah, I'm picking it.
Yeah, everyone's entitled to their opinions, even if it's wrong. Yeah, mine's gonna be Goldvein Hydra
Well,
for
come on.
sure.
That's too easy. We all could have picked that one.
Yeah, and you should have. But what you also all should do is go down, right down there. There's a little red button that says subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Shoot us a like, shoot us a comment. Let us know what your favorite was. Let us know if everyone else's opinion was wrong as well. Yeah, I like that. Also down below, you'll see a link to all of our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It is @GuysThatMagic for all of those. We post a lot of fun things on there, so definitely check those out. Also down below, you're going to see a little scrolling bar with all of our patrons on it. If you guys want to give us a little bit more love than you do already on YouTube, go ahead and check that link. Become a patron. See some fun stuff that's not posted on YouTube. But if it's not in the cards right now and you don't have anything extra, just shoot us those likes and those comments, and that's more than enough. We appreciate everything else. And until the next video, I love you all. Goodbye.
Later.
Bye bye.